Okay, so Aloe, the second gym leader, is a black, green-haired woman who is married to the museum director, who is a really scrawny, nerdy white dude. Pokemon's pushing their boundaries, ain't they? Yo, what's up, guys? The Insane Game Freak here. So, I think a lot of random shit happened in this episode, but I guess the best thing for the title to be for this one is Big Mama Aloe. And that's what I'm going to call it. And let me just get through, run down the episode. Pretty much the episode starts that Ash and company arrived in Shippo City, which is kind of crazy because they've actually gotten to the second gym relatively fast, considering the fact that we're only 14 episodes in and we're already on the second gym. And then the 15th episode is going to be the battle for that gym. So it's like we've gotten... I don't know, it feels like this is a little bit more fast-paced. I don't know, that's just me. Anyway, so the beginning of the episode is that they find out the Shippo City is like a city where they took like random shitty buildings and turned them into works of art. And even more funny about that is that the gym leader... Jim is in the fucking museum, so they have to go to the museum anyway. So they go to the museum. No one answers the door, and it's weird because it's supposed to be like a tour today, but there's no one, but the damn museum's locked. All of a sudden, you see this nerdy little white dude running out here going, ah! And he falls over, and it's like, who is this? And this dude is named Kidachi, and this dude is the one who is the vice owner, I guess the vice proctor of the museum, saying he was chased by a floating Kabuto freaking fossil, and then, you know, Ash and them look and they don't see anything. So Kadachi goes to explain the situation. In a nutshell, the situation is pretty much they were setting up for the museum tour today. But for whatever reason, every time Kadachi was by himself, weird shit would happen. You had fireballs just floating in midair, chasing him. And then you had the whole fucking Kabuto statue chasing him. But he couldn't, when the fireball chased him first. Then he went and got his, the people who were working on there to go check, and they couldn't find anything wrong. So he left them alone again, and that was the day, and that's when he got chased by the Kabuto statue, which is where he ran into Ash and them running out of the friggin' museum. Now, here comes the comedy. Iris thinks it's a wild spirit. Dento thinks there's a scientific explanation to this. So you can kind of see this going head to head. You have the spirit versus the science, and Dento versus Iris. So it's kind of cool. You see some cool. They're actually arguing about something for once, because there hadn't really been any in between those two arguing. I mean, Ash and Dent have a relationship, and Iris and Iris and Ash have a relationship, but you haven't seen Iris and Dent clash yet. So I guess this is the excuse. So we have this, and they go back in there, and they said, hey, we're going to help you figure out what's going on, because, you know, Ash has this gym battle that's in there. And it's funny because the gym leader's not even there. So I guess he's like, well, let's help him figure out what the hell this is. So they're in there. They take a little small brief tour of the museum, showing off all the artifacts. The only thing I was a little pissed off about this is that Ash was that thing all shocked and shit because at a Kabuto fossil when he's seen a fucking Kabutops before. But I guess it kind of makes sense because he's never seen a Kabuto. Well, has he? The episode I'm thinking is the old school episode with Aerodactyl, which I don't know if the Kabuto fossil is just a reference to that, because they could easily use the fossils that are in Diamond and Pearl for Rampardos and Cranidos if they really wanted to do a reference, but for whatever reason they chose Kabuto of all Pokemon to put in the museum. So I don't know if it's paying homage to the first season in that respect, or was it just a random Pokemon choice? Plus that you have, you know, Ash acting like, oh, I don't know what the fuck a Kabuto is. I've never seen a fucking Kabuto before. That's one thing I kind of hate about Pokemon in general. They don't really make that many references back to like previous seasons, and if they do, it's really, really fucking rare. So, anyways, you have all that going on, and they take the tour. They didn't really see anything weird. Iris kept talking about how she felt a strange wind or presence, but she couldn't tell where it was coming from. And so they're like, why don't we spend the night? Maybe. And she's like, well, more spooky stuff will happen at night anyway. So it makes sense because it's cursed. And Dento's like, I mean, we'll figure this out scientifically, folks. Don't need to listen to this crazy person here. She's just a little sick in the head and shit. And they're having these little bullshit arguments. It's funny because Dento didn't even think it was an argument. It's kind of like Dento's really calm and cool, and Iris gets kind of annoyed every time he shoots one of her theories down, because he does that a lot in this episode, and it's funny as shit. So pretty much they spend the night. Now there's a couple of moments with Ash breaking the tension with his comedy, like they're like Iris is getting really mad, and he's like, well, you know what I want to do? I'm hungry. Like, he kind of goes like, I'm hungry. Like, I want to eat and shit. And he started laughing. And I started laughing my ass off. And fucking Iris is like, God damn it, Ash. Now we skip over to Team Rocket, who's still in Chapeau City because they meet up with the correspondent we met a few episodes ago, Flint, who tells them what their actual job is. The meteorite in the museum that Ash and them are in right now, they need to switch out the meteorite that's in there with the dummy one they got last episode, which was in that case that I told you guys about. And that's their job. Now you're thinking, oh, that means they're gonna actually run into Ash this episode. No, that's all you see. They're really hiding their intentions and shit, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, so you got that going on. So anyways, back to the museum. They're all sleeping, and Iris wakes them all up. It's like, I'm feeling something mysterious. And this weird fucking fog rolls in out of nowhere in a fucking museum. They're like, what's going on? So they're pretty much trying to figure out where the hell this fog is coming from. Then, on top of the fog, which is kind of funny because this is where the Iris versus Dento theories start fighting it out and shit. Because Iris is like, the spirit is sending out a deadly presence or some shit on that line, and fucking Dento comes out with this really technical explanation that even made me laugh. It was like, it's probably just the humidity in the fucking museum. And I'm like, really, Dento? We're gonna go that route? Alright. And then he's like, fire. And then there's a random fireball that's just sitting out that just pops out of nowhere. And this is where Ash, it's a fireball and a fucking night that's moving on its own. Now, here we go. Dento's explanation for the fucking night is that there's a magnetic field in the museum that's causing the thing to be moving. That, or someone's pulling it with strings. Iris isn't the guy who gets scared easily, apparently. Iris is still in the space shit, and then the fire explanation, I remember it was like something really like random as hell. It was like, oh, I don't even remember. It's like, it was just something really, he had a science explanation for virtually everything, and it happened so many times that you kind of lose track. Anyways, he uses Michimaru. Ash is the only one fighting this thing. Fucking Ash uses Michimaru to use water gun to take the, extinguish the fire that was chasing Kidachi for whatever reason. And he uses Pikachu to keep attacking the damn fucking moving knight and shit with quick attack and volt tackle and shit, and that eventually stops. And then that's when Iris makes a very weird notice. Apparently, these things it seems like these things are kind of surrounding Kidachi, as if Kidachi had did something to offend the spirits, quote unquote. So I don't know what's going on there, but that's fairly interesting. Now we go from that to they start walking deeper in there because they start hearing a quote unquote crying. And I remember this explanation Dento had. He said the metal suits rubbing together is making a noise that appears to be crying, or something along those lines. It was something like some things were rubbing against each other and making a noise that made it sound like it was crying. I don't think it was maybe the suits, but it was something along those lines, and I was like, Dento, you one sick motherfucker. I was like, the first day, I was like, really, Dento? We're gonna come up with some crazy shit, aren't we? And Iris is like, you bastard. It's like, what the fuck? So anyways, they go into the next room, and they see something really random. There's a fossil of a Pokemon that I think that is either a Pokemon that's in the issue region, and they were using it, and I didn't know the name of yet, or it's a Pokemon that is from the older seasons, but it's the Japanese names. That's why I didn't recognize it. Anyways, it's like a skeleton. It looks kind of like a Dragonite skeleton to me. And it's trying to break the fucking, one of the windows to one of the exhibits that's holding a mask that is supposedly a replica of the mask that Decimatsu holds, which, if you don't know what that Pokemon is, it's a new generation Pokemon. It's the pre-evolution of the Pokemon that looks like a fucking coffin. It's the pre-evolution of that. And anyways, it's trying to break the thing, and the mask is actually trying to get out, and they're like, what the fuck? And it's like, well, and Dento's like, well, I'm gonna go back with the whole magnetic field excuse again. And even Dento goes, man, okay, maybe that's just, maybe I'm pushing it. Maybe I'm just pushing it. So anyways, the thing attacks. He uses Yanapu to keep it at bay, and it goes away. Well, technically, he breaks the damn fossil statue. He breaks the fossil statue, and that collapses. And he's like, Hidachi, go check to see if the mask is all right. He opens up the thing, and the mask just flies out and fucking possesses Dento. And it's like, oh shit, this isn't good. So, it quote-unquote possesses Dento, and Dento starts talking about, you took it away from me, get away, and all this other dumb shit. And what we actually, and then this is where Aloe appears. Aloe shows up like near the end of the episode. Aloe comes in with, God, it's the fucking beaver. It's the beaver Pokemon it's this generation's equivalent to Bidoof's evolution. It's the evolution of this generation's Bidoof. And she uses it to use Flash, which shows that it's an actual Decimatsu. And it's like, what the fuck is the Decimatsu doing in here? And it's still, obviously, still possessing Dento. No, actually, no, it stops possessing Dento once it gets the mask, and then it gets explained what the fuck went on. Kadachi found the mask and thought the mask fell off one of the exhibits while they were moving shit in. Thinking it's a replica, puts it in the case. What he doesn't realize is that Decimatsu accidentally dropped the mask. That's when Kadachi found it. Kadachi put it in the case. Decimatsu couldn't get it out of the case, so he started freaking out and getting angry, which explains why he was attacking Kadachi solely. Mainly just because this motherfucker put my mask in a goddamn case and I couldn't get it out. And that really explains the situation in a nutshell. So, pretty much after that, you just have a simple apology. They say goodbye to Decimatsu, and Ash challenges Aloe to a gym battle. And the whole mama thing from this review, I'm going to explain. For whatever reason, Kadachi calls his wife mama, because Aloe is Kadachi's wife. Interracial relationships in a Pokemon anime. Who would have fucking thought? I have nothing against interracial relationships. I just thought that was weird. Plus, that she didn't even look like a typical black girl. It's like green hair, which really threw me off. You got green hair. She doesn't talk in a slur. Like, she seemed to be speaking like basic Japanese. I've heard slang Japanese before. She's talking just basic Japanese. There's no stereotype or anything. And she's fucking married to a nerdy white dude. Or a nerdy Asian dude, depending on how you want to view the race and shit. It's very interesting. I would not have expected that. So pretty much the episode ends on they're going. Ash's gym battle is the next episode, which I think we won't see until 011, which I think is a good way to end the year. You end the year on introducing the second gym leader. And we're going to fight the second gym leader in 011. That'll probably be the first episode, and hopefully we'll see if Ash is going to keep winning or if he's going to get his ass whooped. Good episode. It is a pretty funny episode just because of the whole back and forth arguments between Dento and Iris, which actually ends after Dento gets possessed because, you know, and he's just like, what the fuck happened to me? Because it's just, he had no idea. What do I think of the gym leader so far? Dento's the first gym leader, depending on the Pokemon you pick. From what I remember, from what I've heard in the game, depending on your star, depends on which first gym leader out of the 3 waiters who you're gonna get. Dento is, I guess, and his brothers are pretty decent as far as the first gym leaders. Aloe seems interesting as a second gym leader. I'm not 100% sure what Pokemon she uses because she has that fucking beaver Pokemon, which I remember as a normal type, and that thing is using Flash, which means we didn't actually get to see the thing doing like real damage. So she might be a normal type trainer, which I'm fairly interested to see what the hell she's gonna pull. And then after the episode ended, they showed some previews of things we're gonna get to see in the next year. We're gonna get to see Team Plasma. Giovanni's actually gonna show up in fucking issue, which makes me go, whoa, this shit just got real kind of crap. We're gonna get to see the third gym leader who looks like a fucking ninja. He looks like a younger, more chilled out version of Koga when you see him in the previews at the end of the episode for the shit that's happening in 2011. You finally get to see what Team Rocket's motos are, because I don't know if it's just me, but in Best Wishes, I've been really curious what the fuck they're doing with this meteorite shit. I guess they're gonna switch on the meteorite after or during the gym battle or some shit, which wouldn't be anything off from like back from Diamond and Pearl where they used to like sneak in the gyms and shit while Ash would be fighting his gym battle, which made what happened. Not 100% sure on that actually, but I mean that's just me guessing. But all in all, it's a pretty straight episode. Aloe is a fairly interesting gym leader. Weird ass character design, weird ass affiliation to other characters. But I will give it points. It's a fucking original gym leader. It's better than what's her name, the ghost trainer in Sinnoh, Fantina, who looks like a fucking dyke. I mean, like if you've seen Fantina, Fantina looks like a fucking her game picture looks like a dude dressed in girl's clothes. She doesn't actually look like a chick until like the anime, and even then there are certain moments where you're just like, that face, what's up with that face? Like her face is too bulky. Also, just to know, I think I mentioned this in my last review, they're gonna do that special with Brock and Dawn, which should be coming out either next week or next week or the week after. I'm not 100% sure when that special is coming out. If I'll review it or not, it depends. Put it in the comment section if you want me to review it or not, and I'll debate it depending on how good the special is. Mind you, I kind of tuned out of fucking Diamond and Pearl kind of late in the game because it's fucking Diamond and Pearl, and it got really stupid towards the ending. All I know is that Brock is studying to become like a Pokemon doctor, and I think Dawn's just traveling again by herself, from what I've been told. Anyways, this is my Pokemon Best Wishes episode 14 review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Gotta catch them all.